Can you really get an $80,000 credit card with Navy Federal even with bad credit? Well, the honest answer is yes and no. There's only one way to get an $80,000 credit card with Navy Federal, and that's if you get the flagship credit card. This is the only credit card that they have that will, in fact, go all the way up to $80,000. But they're not just gonna throw $80,000 on it. You're gonna have to work for it. You're gonna have to get other Navy Federal credit cards to get to this $80,000 credit card. So it's not just like they're gonna hand you over an $80,000 credit card. So it's a yes and a no. So you got to start off somewhere, get to the middle, and then get to here. I mean, there's some people that can go straight to the flagship. So don't come for me in the comments saying, no, I got the flagship first. Yes, there are people that did that, but I don't recommend that. So what I need to do first is I need to get you into Navy Federal. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the entire process of how to get into Navy Federal, then how to get to the flagship card, and then how to get to the $80,000 credit limit, which nobody ever walks you through that process. But on today's video, we will. But before I get into this video, make sure that you smash that like and subscribe button so this video gets out to more people so everyone can stay informed. So let's go ahead and jump into the first part, and we're going to talk about how to join Navy Federal. Now, first off, you don't have to be directly in the armed forces. So everyone that says that, they don't know what they're talking about, because guess what? I'm not in the armed forces. And as you saw, I am a member of Navy Federal. So I'm going to try to go through this list as fast as I possibly can. And I'm going to get you to the meat and potatoes in case if you do not have a family member that is in Navy Federal already. So if you are active duty, retired, or a veteran, so active duty members of the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, National Guard, and Space Force, delayed entry programs, DOD officer candidate or ROTC, DOD reservists, and veterans, retirees, and annuitants. So the classic way is if you have a family member that is in Navy Federal. So that's a parent, a grandparent, spouse, sibling, children, including adopted and stepchildren, grandchildren, and household members. Now here's the catch right there, household member. See that? This also applies to anyone that you are a roommate with. So if you are a household member and your actual roommate is a Navy Federal member, you can get in as long as you are both on the same lease, both of your driver's license show the same address, and it is an active lease. Okay, remember, they're going to ask you for the lease agreement, and I just told you, you can go to Google and make yourself a lease agreement if that's what you need to do. But remember, your driver's license must match that lease agreement and the address that you put on that lease agreement and the same address that your roommate has on their driver's license. It all must match up. So don't drop the ball on this one, okay? But it's one of the biggest ones that a lot of people miss is grandparents. So if you had a grandparent that served in the military, even if they passed away, call Navy Federal and be the nicest person you've ever been. Tell them about your grandparent, your grandfather, your grandmother, anybody that you were related to that was in the military can potentially get you into Navy Federal. You just have to be nice and kind, and Navy Federal will let you in. And don't come into the comments saying, oh, they're not going to ask you for a lease. Guess what? My nephew, I tried to get him into Navy Federal, and they asked me for a lease agreement to present to them. So we gave them the lease agreement that we had, that we created for him, because he does live with me here in my home, and that's how we got him into Navy Federal. You can also be a Department of Defense civilian, so DOD civilian employees, U.S. government employees assigned to DOD installations, DOD contractors assigned to U.S. government installations, and DOD civilian retirees and annuitants. Also be aware, if you're an existing member and a parent, grandparent, or guardian of a minor, you can get them in to Navy Federal as a minor once they turn 18. That actual 18-year-old can sign you off of their account, and then now they are a Navy Federal member also. That's another way you can get your children into Navy Federal and then just make the transition with them once they turn 18. I want to give a special shout out to all my beasters out there that are working hard to fix their credit using Dispute Beast, the most advanced AI credit repair software ever created, and specifically to Wesley, Wesley's credit score went up over 226 points after just 2 rounds with Dispute Beast. And also Marcus's credit score went up 337 points after just 2 rounds with Dispute Beast. And let's not forget Richard's credit score went up 446 points after just 1 round with Dispute Beast. Dispute Beast is going to be pinned at the very top of the comments and in the video description for anybody that needs to fix their credit. Last part's the most important. Now we're gonna move on to step number 2. Now, once we are in Navy Federal, what are the things that you need to do? Rule number 1, you want to open up a checking and a savings. You want to put as much money as you can into your savings account. And of course, you want to put money into your checking account. But your savings account is the most important of all. If you have any money that's squirreled away somewhere else, take that money and put it into your savings account with Navy Federal. Remember, the name of the game is to make yourself an asset to the credit union. The more money that you put into that savings account, the more valuable you become to Navy Federal. Next, you want to do a direct deposit. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, what if I don't have direct deposit? Then unfortunately, this may not work for you because Navy Federal wants to see that direct deposit of those funds coming directly into Navy Federal. Now, let's say if you have multiple bank accounts, you can do like 75% of your money going into Navy Federal and the other 25% going into your other account. But this needs to be your primary account with the majority of your direct deposit, if I can say that right, going into Navy Federal. Then you want to do a secured loan with Navy Federal, which is called a pledge loan. You want to do a minimum of 24 months. Do not do a 6-month or a 12-month. It is too short because what you're doing is you're opening up a new actual account that's going to report to your credit profile. You're going to open it up and then it's going to close too soon if you do 6 or 12 months. 24 months is the sweet spot. If you could do a longer one, even better. But you need to talk to Navy Federal over the phone about the pledge loan, and you need to talk to them about the money that you're going to put in there because the requirements are different based on the time frame that you're going to do. Now, let's say hypothetically you do $1,000 with Navy Federal pledge loan. You put that $1,000 into that account. Then once that account is opened, they're going to say, hey, would you like us to set up auto payment for you? You say, no, don't do auto payment for me. Don't need it. I'll pay it. Make sure that you make the first payments until it hits your credit report. Once you see that secured loan report to the credit reporting agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, then you're going to pick up the phone and you're going to call Navy Federal and you're going to pay off 80 to 90% of the loan and put the remaining amount on auto payment for the remainder of your loan, and make sure it always pays on time every month without auto payment. But we need to pay off 80 to 90% of the loan because that's going to come right back to us into our savings account. You're just investing your money into your relationship with Navy Federal. That's all you're doing, which is tremendous. Now, if you can do any other products also, maybe you got some extra money sitting around somewhere, just saying, hypothetically, you can do a savings certificate. So do a savings certificate. The more products you use, the more money you're putting into your Navy Federal account, the more valuable you become because Navy Federal has an internal credit score. I'm not talking about your regular FICO score. That's completely separate. Navy Federal is going to look at your FICO score, but it's also going to look at your internal Navy Federal credit score. You're never going to see that until you apply for any type of credit product. Once you apply for a credit product with Navy Federal, whether it be a personal loan, an auto loan, a credit card, they're going to send you a notice in the mail telling you what your internal Navy Federal credit score is, and then they're going to tell you how you can improve it. And what they normally do is they're looking at all the different products that you're using. They want to see that direct deposit, savings accounts. They want to see an actual pledge loan, which is your secured loan. They'll list all of those things that they want you to do. The most points that you can acquire with Navy Federal is a total of 450 points. Doing all of the things that I just taught you is going to get you well above 300 points with Navy Federal, and that's what we want. We want to do all of these things that I just taught you, which is open up a checking, a savings, doing a direct deposit, doing the pledge loan for a minimum, all of this together for 6 to 8 months before we even apply for any credit product. Now, of course, you're gonna hear people all over the interweb saying, you can apply after 91 days. Yes, you can apply, but the longer you wait, the higher the limits you're going to get. I've done this with thousands of my clients and it's worked like money. The minimum credit card they've ever got was literally $10,000. I was able to get clients that had less than a 600 FICO score, a $25,000 credit card with Navy Federal just by following these simple steps. If you have less than a 700 credit score and you're trying to get an $80,000 credit card, it ain't gonna work for you. I'm telling you right now, okay? It's just not possible. You will be able to get high limit credit cards. That is totally possible, but you're gonna have to work to improve your credit score because Navy Federal Federal wants to see those great FICO scores, okay? They're gonna be looking at your FICO 9 and your FICO 8 coming directly from TransUnion. That's the only one that they care about. So you wanna get those scores as high as you possibly can before you apply. But remember, the mark is 6 to 8 months after you've done everything I've taught you. And then make sure your FICO score is in line above a 725. If you can get it all the way up there, right underneath an 800, you're gonna be shooting for the stars and you're gonna get a crazy high limit with Navy Federal. What I did is I went after the platinum card first. They gave me $10,000 on this credit card and I broke the rules, I'm not gonna lie. I only waited 91 days, but if I would have waited longer, I would have got higher. This credit card now is over $20,000. This is a $25,000 credit card. After that, I was offered the flagship card. I got an email. It told me, hey, we would love to offer you the flagship card. It looks like you're pre-qualified. And then I got a mailer in the mail. I was like, okay, it's go time, baby. Let's go get the Navy Federal flagship card. This is a $30,000 credit card. I know it's kind of crazy. It's just all plastic. It looks like nothing, right? But it's $30,000. And then after, I think it was, that was in my first year with Navy Federal. After I broke, I think it was like maybe 13 months. Then I went and got the last credit card right here. This is a $20,000 credit card with Navy Federal. Now, of course, you just saw neither one of these are $80,000, right? But here's the trick. You can get it to $80,000, and I'm gonna show you exactly how right now. You can take your credit limit from this credit card right here, and you can move it to your flagship. So you can leave like maybe 500 or 1,000 on this credit card, and then move the rest to your flagship. You can do the same with your other credit card. There's a reason why I have 3, ladies and gentlemen, because I wanted to get this credit card as high as I possibly could. And then this one right here, I just went all the way down to $1,000. Same process. And then now this is officially an $80,000 credit card. I'm just saying hypothetically here, okay? So don't say, no, your calculations are wrong, Mike. No, don't come for me in the comments. I'm just saying hypothetically, this is exactly how you do it. And as you're building the relationship with that first credit card, all you have to do is use it and pay it off. Use it and pay it off. Do not carry a balance with Navy Federal because we're trying to build and establish a relationship and build that trust up with them. And then guess what? The more you use it and you pay it off, and in 91 days after you used it responsibly and aggressively, then you ask for a credit limit increase inside of the app. There's no hard inquiry to do that. So if you get declined after 91 days, no big deal. Come back after a full 6 months from when you started using the credit card and ask again. You should be requesting a credit limit increase on your Navy Federal credit card every 6 months as long as you're using it responsibly and you're paying it off in full every single month. And guess what? Navy Federal will extend and give you more of a higher credit limit. I know, it's just that simple. It's crazy, right? And you just do that with both of your credit cards. So if you get this one and then you get this one, or you get this one and another one, work on those credit limits, get them as high as you can, and then go after the flagship. That's the smart move, not going after the flagship right out the gate and then saying, I'm just gonna keep getting the credit limit increase. No, build up the relationship with the other credit cards and then shift them over. It's called an allocation of a credit limit. Yes, it does exist in the Navy Federal ecosystem. It is possible, I've done it. And yes, this can and does work if you don't have the best credit score and the best credit profile. This is your chance to do things right and get your finances on track and do it right with Navy Federal. Because once you do it right with Navy Federal, guess what? Now you have high limits on your credit profile and you can go to any bank or any lender and they will give you anything. But a lot of those other lenders are gonna still see those negative items. So if you have collections or charge-offs on your credit report, get rid of them. Work on it. I give you all the tools to do it. Stop being lazy and just get it done. I know that you can do it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We covered another big one on how to get an $80,000 credit card with Navy Federal. It's just that simple. Now make sure that you watch this next video right here because it is about another credit union that you may want to learn about. And if you felt that I brought you some value in this video, make sure that you don't forget and subscribe to increase your credit score.